Hello and welcome to. Let's look at the agenda for today. We are going to cover these items in today's session. They include small business and economy, then the concept of creating destruction, the destruction which is created, positive destruction by the way, which is created whenever a small business is set up in your neighborhood. Then we will try to illustrate this concept of creative destruction with a very simple story involving HP, Apple, and IBM personal computers. Then we will look into the rewards associated with the entrepreneurship and how business grows from small to high growth ventures. And there is another story of the Dell computers. We will also look into the four key things in starting a new small business and how small businesses differ from high growth businesses. And before we finish, we will go for the myths about starting a small business, some of the issues or common beliefs which are pretty injurious for any new business starters or the entrepreneurs. We will look into these myths and try to deal with them. And last but not the least, we will look into these boundaries, resources, intention, and exchange, the BRIE model, which actually explain that whenever you are ready to start, what exactly you need to put in place. So regarding small businesses and economy, small business is a key element of every nation's economy because it offers a very special environment in which the new can come into being. So this concept of creative destruction is related to this small business and economy. This concept actually refers to the way that newly created goods, services, or firms can hurt the existing goods, services, or firms. For example, when a new restaurant opens in your neighborhood, people flock to it to find out what it's like. This helps the new restaurant, but it also causes the other restaurants in the area to lose the business. So, or at least temporarily. Uh, we can also highlight this concept of creative destruction through a story where the two co-founders of Apple, both Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, they offered the first Apple personal computer to Wozniak's employers, which was actually the Hewlett Packard, HP firms. The HP rejected the offer, saying that the personal computers would never be a success, but they gave Wozniak a permission to go ahead with his own. Apple made the personal computer popular and paved the way for IBM personal computers, and the personal computer explosion occurred. This explosion redrew the lines of entire computer industry, but it also created tremendous new wealth, utility, and innovation. So then we have the three different types of rewards which are associated with new small businesses, and they are categorized as universally mentioned reward, then occasionally mentioned reward, and rarely mentioned reward. So by looking at them one by one, we have universally mentioned rewards, and they involve growth, income, and flexibility. So the entrepreneurs all around the globe, they are known for flexibility. They have their own office, they have their own timings. Unlike 9 to 5ers, they can set up their own schedules. Then we have income. So by generating your own or creating your own small business, you become the driver or the captain of your own ship. Yourself, your family, you can generate income. And then another reward which is universally considered or mentioned is growth. So you can grow personally, you can learn as a person, you can learn as a team. Then we have occasionally mentioned rewards, which are wealth and the product. So if you are running a startup, you any startups which are successful, they are associated with wealth, and this is a chance to build a great wealth or a very high income. And then another occasionally mentioned reward is the product, the feeling of producing something, to developing an idea or developing a product. So these are two of the occasionally mentioned reward. And last but not the least, we have rarely mentioned rewards, which are recognition, admiration, power, and family. So these are the rarely mentioned reward. The family means, like, if you are your family is in a business and then you are continuing the tradition of your family. So this is again the continuation of the business. If no one is there to take care of the family business, the business is going to die ultimately. So power, these small business startups or these entrepreneurial expeditions, they do provide you a chance to lead and motivate others. And then the entrepreneurs, they are respected and admired by their friends, their society, sometimes globally. And last but not the least is the recognition. This is the recognition that they have achieved something. So this recognition of achieving something is also one of the rarely mentioned rewards. So the next item is how we move from small to high growth ventures. Not all the time when we are thinking about setting up a business, we are looking for a business that is a mature, that's a high growth business. So there are many stories where people started. The young entrepreneurs, they started from very early age and from very small business, generating very small portion of the revenue. And at the end, they keep switching their businesses and went to achieve glory. So here is a story of Michael. So Michael started selling collectible stamps through the mail. He typed his catalog on one key at a time, since he had never learned to type. And he made around $2,000 through this business. His next business was selling newspaper subscriptions by phone from home. And he made 18,000 from this venture. His third business was reselling the international business machines, PCs, means IBM PCs, from his dorm room at the University of Texas at a time when IBM was trying to limit the sales to official IBM dealers like Sears and IBM's own personal computers. So this was Michael's third business. And there come the Dell. So the fourth business Michael had was selling his own PCs, and they are today known as Dell Computer. And Michael was Michael Dell, who was the founder of the Dell Computers. So Michael's four businesses point up the difference between small business and the high growth ventures. So not all the time you are going to start Dell from the word go. You may be having a very humble start, such as collectible stamps and earning very small revenue. But if you are at the right place with right frame of mind, you can move from collectible stamps to the Dell computers. So if you are looking for starting a new entrepreneurial business, here are the four key ideas which we should look into. We have the self-efficacy, which is the belief that yes, you can do it. Without this self-efficacy, it will be very difficult for any new business to survive the harsh environment. So those who have belief in themselves and in the passion of their beliefs, they are more likely to keep a success until they're more likely to on keep on doing the struggle until they succeed. Then we have the planning plus action combo. It is planning plus action is equal to success. So a plan without action is futile, and actions without plans are usually wasted. So success comes from having the right sort of plan to get to you to the right actions as quickly as possible. So this is very important. The third one is help helps. Sometimes it is promoted that the entrepreneurs, they work on their own, they are solo flight guys, and but this is also true that help helps. Successful entrepreneurs learn, they do learn. And now the question is, from whom they learn? They learn from other entrepreneurs, from experts in their chosen field, from the potential customers, and maybe from, if they are student, they can learn from the teacher, the professors of the universities. So then we have the do well, do good. So in the long run, you will depend on the partners, investors, employees, customers, and a lot of people. You may not be working alone, especially if you have any chance of scaling up your business from a small business to a high growth business. You will be dealing with all these people like partners, investors, and employees and customers. So what you have to do, we have to keep a belief that it's not your growth actually, it's the growth of everyone. So win-win situation is what you should be looking to create. You should try to do good for others as you try to do well in your own business. By doing this, you will feel better about your business and life, and also about those who are around you. So these are the four key ideas, or we can say the key things which you should be looking at. So if any of these things is missing, for example, if you don't believe that you can do it, there is no way you can do it. Then if you are having a very sound plan and not putting a plan into an action, it will result nothing. Or you are an extremely action guy, but you are not planning whatever you are going to act on, you will be most of the time uh, generating a lot of waste instead of creating any sort of value. And then never you know shirk away from taking help. You can seek help from the entrepreneurs, the experts in the chosen field, or your potential customer, because these are the people who has already gone to the path you are following, or they are the ones who are going to be the ultimate user of the product or the service which you are going to create. So it's better to take their input to improve whatever you are doing. And this is again, you do well, do good. You should not be trying to make yourself wealthy. That should not be the ultimate goal of your entrepreneurial pursuit. All successful entrepreneurial pursuits, they are going to result in a lot of wealth for the entrepreneurs. But if you are doing it for the sake of money and that only for yourself, it will not be very sustainable in terms of the happiness which you are pursuing. So here we have compared the small businesses with the high growth businesses. So in the first column, we have the preferred, we have the criteria. So here we have the preferred funding source. And for small business, the preferred funding source would be the owner's own money. And whereas if you are in a high growth business, you will be using other people's money, like the venture capital, or the shareholders' money, or the money that you have raised through the different means. So when the firm is in trouble, the small business, they cut costs, but high growth businesses, they sell more. Then what's more important? Sales are more important for the small businesses, whereas marketing is very important for the high growth businesses. Because when you are running a small business, It's not that a lot of marketing is involved. You can do, uh, you know, the word of mouth and the people, your family and friends. It's a small circle. They are good enough for the marketing of your small scale business. But if the business is really large, it may use marketing as a tool. Then the personal control preference in small bit businesses, we retain autonomy, and but there are not many people involved. And whereas in high growth businesses, there are we have to involve other key people within our business. We have to develop huge teams and then sub teams, and then you have to assign them goals, their performance indicators, and all that, like whatever a successful organization need. uh, so you will be using that as a personal control preference. Focus is on efficiency in small businesses, whereas on effectiveness in high growth businesses. The meta strategy is imitation. Okay, if you are in a small business, you see some, you are okay with imitation. But when you are in a high growth businesses and you want to grow, the imitation may not help you that much. You may have to look for novelty, where you have to create something novel and useful for the people around you. Then the external control preferences, we have the control firm and then control market. Then this is actually here associated with what's important, and then the control preferences. You are looking for sales and you are controlling your firm, and here you are looking for marketing. At the same time, you are trying to control the market. So as far as growth is concerned, the small business will grow whenever necessary, and the high growth businesses, they will grow when possible. Human resources, they are personalized in this case and professionalized in the high growth cases. And acceptance criteria, for small businesses, the personal validation is good enough. But for high growth businesses, we need external legitimacy. And then uh, what are the limiting on the growth? The loss of control. So again here, because the control firm, it's personal, it's own money, and you are running it by cutting the cost. And if you lose the control, the growth will be lost. And here, in this case, if you are a high growth business, if there is no positive market response and you're losing share or the customer goodwill, you are going to lose some of it. So delegation orientation, that delegation is difficult because it's a firm control, it's your personal money, and you have personalized human resource. So you are very unlikely to delegate in small businesses, whereas in high growth businesses, the delegation is essential. You cannot actually grow unless so delegation is essential in case of the high growth businesses. So then we have the myths. What are the common myths that are associated with most of the small businesses? So here we have listed some of them. First of all, not enough money. This is what is presented whenever you think about starting anything new. The biggest challenge you face is not enough financing. And then there is another myth that you need to create something physical, a new product, if you are going to start a new business. Then here you go. You cannot start during the recession. If the market is not doing well, the global market or the local market, it's undergoing recession, there is no way you can start anything. And then if you fail, you should not try again. And last but not the least, student entrepreneurs, they do not have the skill to start any new business. So let's unmiss them one by one. Here you go. You need a product to start a business. So this is a myth. It's only a physical product that can help you to start a new business. Whereas we see that 9 out of 10 profitable small industries during 2011 during this session were service industries like dentists, tax preparers, mining support service, credit counselors, insurance brokers, and health practitioners. None of these actually involve a new product. So you can easily go for starting a new service. For example, if you are an engineer, say mechanical engineer, and you want to start, you're an expert on engines, you can be a consultant, you can give your services to the existing firms. Then we have not enough financing, but that is also still a myth. But we have friends, families, angels, crowdfunding sites, then the Kickstarters.com. These are some of the options which are available in the US. And then we have the bootstrapping techniques, which you can use to raise the funds. So when you are thinking about how to raise money, one of the first thing you should consider is bootstrap financing, which is using your own money to get your business off the ground. This is one of the most popular forms of internal funding because it relies on your ability to utilize all your company's resources to free the additional capital to launch a venture, meet operational needs, or expand your business. Bootstrap financing is probably one of the best and the most inexpensive routes an entrepreneur can explore when raising the capital. It utilizes unused opportunities that can be found within your company or by simply managing your finances better. There are a number of advantages to using the various methods of bootstrap financing. For example, your business will be worth more because less money has been borrowed and therefore no equity positions have to be relinquished. You won't have to pay the high interest on borrowed money. So coming from a stronger position with less debt on hand, you look more desirable to external lenders and investors when the time does come to raise money through these routes whenever you want to scale up. You can be creative in finding ways to raise profits without having to look to the external sources. It will give you the added confidence of the business savvy. So bootstrapping is what you can try. You can try some of your friends or family, and of course, in every society, you can find some of the angels, the people with money who are looking for the investment opportunities. Then you can't start a business during recession. Here are some of the companies. Again, the data is taken from the US. General Electric was started in 1876, Southwest Airline in 1967, FedEx in 1973, CNN in 1980. So all of these companies, when they were launched, some sort of global recession or political crisis was going on. And then after 9/11, one of the industries that got a big hit was airline industry because people were afraid of traveling through air. But there were 20 new airlines founded during this time, and one decade after that, still more than 15 they are still in business. So this is also still a myth that you cannot start a business during recession. Then in case there is another myth that if you uh, fail once, you should not try again. So here are a few facts that can easily demyth this myth. Henry Ford, he founded two failed companies before the Ford. Ray Kroc, famous for McDonald's, failed in real estate. Then Rick Rosenfield and Larry Flex, founders of California Pizza Kitchen, failed at screenwriting, regular Italian restaurants, mobile skateboard park idea. So all of these guys who later on became the very successful entrepreneurs, they failed at some or the other one or two businesses. So it's not only all the time first time you start anything and you get a big hit. It does happen in some cases, but not in all cases. So there's no point losing your hope. If you fail once, try again and again and again. Then the last one is the student entrepreneurs. They have no skills to start a new business. So here are some examples. Not to name any of them, all of these they were. We have Google, we have Facebook, we have Friendster, we have Apple. They were all students when they were following their passions, and they created something that has disrupted the global industry, and almost not the industries where their product was. It's all the industry. If you talk about Google or Apple, they have created so much value globally that every industry has been disrupted by these, by their innovativeness and the invention and the creativity they have brought forward. Then we have, if you are going for your small business startup, what you need to look at are the four things. This BRIE model: is boundaries, resources, exchange, and intention. So for boundaries, they are that you have to create a place for your business in a location as well as in people's mind. The resources means the money, the product, the knowledge that make up the business. What exactly you need to create that value which you are looking for. Then exchange means you have to move resources, products, services in exchange for the money. And then last but not the least is the intention. You have to have an intention to start a new business. So look for these things: the boundaries, the resources, exchange, and the intention. Or we can start with the intention, by the way. You need to have an intention to start a new business, and then you can work out all this stuff. So boundary, a businessman needs the benefit of a boundary, something that sets up as a firm, and it sets off from buying or selling or bartering, all we do occasionally. A boundary can be something as simple as a business name or a government registration, a phone number, an email address dedicated to the business, or a specific location for the firms in a home, in a commercial space, or even on a very small place, wherever you can have or you can put an address on. So having boundary gives you a place to locate and protect the resources you have gathered from the business. And then we have the resources. Resources include the product or service to be offered, informational resources or markets and running a business, financial resources, and human resources such as your own time to devote to the business or that of others working with you or for you. So these are all your resources. So then we have the exchange. You have to move. The exchange is also needed. This refers to moving resources, goods, or services to others in exchange for money or other resources. If a firm doesn't exchange with its environment, there is no business taking place. And we have the intention, which is actually the desire to start a business and is the most frequently occurring element of the BRIE model. So thank you very much. This was the session for today. I hope it helps. So thank you.